how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And so today we're going to be talking about the Pixel 5 and kind of just giving you guys my up-to-date experience with the phone, as I like to keep people up to date with how things are going with Pixel devices that I currently own. But when it comes to the Pixel 5, it really boils down to just perception. Perception is the biggest part where it boils down to with the Pixel 5. And I'm noticing a trend online, whether it's on Reddit or on Twitter, near similar reactions, which basically is the reason why I say that it comes down to perception. And I'll get into that in a little bit in this video. But yeah, the Pixel 5. Shrouded in controversy, really, when you kind of think about it. And the reason why is because the path that Google decided to go with the Pixel 5, the direction that it decided to take, thus being the Snapdragon 700 series chip that's inside this device, is mainly the big thing that's where it comes down to the perception of it. And there's two perceptions when it comes into this realm, and it all centers around the root word flagship. And so what are those two perceptions? The two perceptions for flagships is based upon this. One, some people perceive it to be that the build quality and pricing is what labels it a flagship. Number two is it the lead device for the OEM? And for me, I would go with, if you were to define a flagship, it is the lead device that leads the OEM, right? Now we know that the Pixels only have two lines. They're flagship models, they're A-series budget Pixels. That's pretty much it. So there's not anything in between. There's not, like Samsung that has the S series, the A series, the M series, the J series, nothing like that. So there's only two lines, the budget and then the flagship. But people like to argue the fact that the Pixel 5 would even be classified as a flagship because it has a 700 series chip, or the pricing on it was basically $700. And to me, I like to go with, is it the lead device? So kind of putting that's my opinion. Other people may have a different opinion. I'm not here to change minds and tell you guys you have to think the same way. But to me, the Pixel 5 is a flagship. Now, of course, the Snapdragon 765G is where people really focus on. When you hear 700 series chip, you kind of think that it's going to be a subpar experience. It's going to completely lack compared to the Pixel 4 or 3 or previous models before that was using the 800 series chips from Qualcomm. That is not the case. And now here I am actually, telling you my experience, and also telling you that the 700 series chip in here is capable. It is capable. Of course, if you were to really put the chip through rigorous testing, the same testing that you would put an 800 series chip, of course it's not going to stack if you were to benchmark it. But as far as using it, daily driving it, you would actually be surprised just how well Android is optimized on this device and how well it functions and performs. And that's the thing that I'm seeing a lot of. I'm seeing a lot of Twitter posts, a lot of people posting on Reddit, and they would openly say that they were disappointed in the release of the Pixel 5. 765G is a mid-range budget chip, for budget phones, actually. Not a budget chip, but for budget phones. And their whole perception changed when they actually decided to jump in both feet first and pick up a Pixel 5 and actually use it. And then their whole perception now changes of what they think of the phone. And they're just kind of like, wow. It's that wow factor that really just kind of emphasizes on their experience, which has me, with kind of like a candid smile, because I'm just like, yeah, that's the whole point about it. Look, I get it. On paper, you're going to think that it's going to be like a mid-range experience. You're going to think that, it's going to be similar to something that you would buy out of a Cricket store or Boost Mobile store. And I'm going to tell you guys, it's far from that. It actually performs very, very well. Android is well optimized on the Pixel 5, and yeah. If your local Best Buy has one on display to tinker around with, go to a Best Buy and play with the phones. I recommend this a lot of people. If you want to know how a phone works, and if Best Buy has it, if they have it on display, go to the store, play around with it, and don't do the 10-second pick up phone, turn on the camera, snap a photo, put it back down. Like, play with the phone. That's what it's there for. You know what I mean? If it's connected to the in-store Wi-Fi, download a game and then play the game on it for a while. Stand there, you know, because it's got the little security string attached to it. You know, play around with the phone, and you'll see and get a feel for it. And if it doesn't feel up to par for you, then you know to walk away from it. But if it feels decent enough, there you have it. And if you wanted to get one, now you have a reason to buy one because you played around with it. I always recommend that to a lot of people, but I digress from that. So again, performance-wise is not an issue with the Pixel 5. 765G is a capable chip. The camera sensors in the back, yes, people tend to complain. And for me, I feel like that the complaining is really what kind of drove the idea. So when the Pixel 4 came out and then its competitor, the iPhone, came out, the iPhone went with an ultra-wide lens. Was it an iPhone? No, it was Samsung. Samsung had ultra-wide. And a lot of companies were going ultra-wide with their camera sensors. They wanted this ultra-wide shot. When the Pixel 4 came out, it went with a telephoto lens as a secondary sensor, and people were scratching their heads and they were like, why? So a lot of people were focused on ultra-wide, and the big G company decided to listen to that. And so with this iteration, it comes with a wide-angle basic sensor and then a 16 megapixel ultra-wide. And then people started to complain, well, there's no telephoto lens in it. It's like, you can't please the crowd. And we all know this in the tech space. But that's what they went with because that's what people said they wanted. You know, all companies are there to do is to kind of like listen to the masses and then try to produce what the masses want. So now people are like, well, there should have been 3 sensors. There should have been an ultra-wide, a wide-angle normal sensor, and then a telephoto sensor. And it's like, you guys want them to completely keep up with other companies, but in my opinion, the Pixel is only good at being the Pixel. If you're trying to have it like the Galaxy S, the iPhone 12, or any other device out there, OnePlus, Motorola, it cannot be that. You might as well just go buy one of those. Now, would have been cool to have 3 sensors on the Pixel 5, a telephoto, ultra-wide, and a normal wide-angle? Sure, of course it would be cool. But they didn't go that route. And maybe with the next iteration, the Pixel 6, it will have that. Who knows? There's still more to come when it comes to the Pixel 6. When it comes to gaming on this phone handles very, very well on gaming, especially when I play on Stadia. I pair a Bluetooth controller to this, like my PS4 controller, and I get down on some game. And it handles just fine. Of course, if you're going to throw something very heavy at it, and then you'll actually start to see the 765G's shortcomings. But you really got to throw that heavyweight task to the chip in order for it to show its ugly teeth. Otherwise, the experience is smooth. But the big key thing here when it comes to the Pixel 5 is battery life, and I could not be more happier. And that was one of the things that I really felt like a lot of the previous Pixels lacked. The idea to put a sub 3000 milliamp battery in the Pixel devices passed, unless it was the XL model that had, you know, over a 3000 but still sub 4000 milliamp. The older Pixels, they had smaller batteries, and if you wanted a longer battery life, you had to go with the XL model. But to me, that was like, what about people with small hands? You know, that it wasn't comfortable for them to hold the XL model quite frequently, since, let's face it, smartphones are just an extension of the human body. It really is. You know, there's hardly anyone you see walking down the street that's not holding a smartphone in their hand. So with the smaller models, that was the biggest suffering right there, was small battery, which means that battery life wasn't all that great. They fixed that with the Pixel 5. And they put a decent sized battery in a small form factor phone with a smaller display, which means that the battery life is extended far beyond. Some people get 2 days battery life, and that's great. Obviously me, I don't reach the 2-day mark at all. I reach about a day and a half. With the type of usage that I use on my Pixel 5, I get about a day and a half. And this is my daily driver. I daily drive this device more than anything. I do carry other devices like the Pixel 4, which I'm using to record this video, and that's both audio and visuals, or my Pixel 4a or Pixel 2 XL. I'll use those on the side, but above all, the 5 is always with me. and I use it for everything from, you know, social media posting and posting videos and photos and sharing my network speeds here in my city, to just all those things is involved. And so the Pixel 5, to me, the battery life is decent, and I'm actually quite happy that they decided to put a bigger battery, even though there's no XL model, which some people are like, they're frustrated about, and I get it. Some people just, they can't use small phones, too small for them, they gotta have a bigger phone. So a lot of people are opting for the Pixel 4a 5G, which is slightly bigger than the Pixel 5. But at least the battery life in the Pixel 5 handles very well. The lack of an XL model is not a big deal for me. It is for some people, so I will kind of put that as a negative when it comes to the Pixel 5. Just for those people out there that, you know, really need to use an XL model phone, because these are too small for them. So I will throw that as a caveat to the Pixel 5, but there's no XL model for it. But in general, up until today, the 5 is still handling very, very well. There's no jitter, no jank. There's not been a time where it's like frozen up on me or anything like that. And, you know, I gotta say that for it having, again, the 765G chip inside here, it doesn't feel like that. Using it side by side with my Pixel 4, which has an 800 series chip inside of it, it's on point. Like, if I was to put them all in the box but just have the screen, like a central part of the screen, so I couldn't see if there was a bezel or not a bezel to tell the difference between the 4 and the 5, I really wouldn't see a difference between them as far as performance-wise and using certain apps. They're pretty much on par. So, but I mean, you'll know yourself if you actually go and play around with the phone. So, audio is decent. Phone calls, mostly I have it on speaker because the lack of an actual like opening for the speaker that's under the display. So the top speaker does sound muffled a little bit. So when I take phone calls, it's on speakerphone, or I have my Pixel Buds connected to it, and I just talk through that. Other than that, the experience with the Pixel 5 has been great. Yes, I disagree with the pricing at $699 at launch, but you can find these, you know, being sold on from private sellers and stuff like that for much less. So if you can get it at a lower price, that's great. But if you want it brand new, you have to get it at about $700. But you won't feel like you got took if you get the Pixel 5 around that price. So, I mean, yeah, there's not too much that has changed. I mean, there'll be another video where I absolutely talk about how Android 12 is on the Pixel 5 when it gets that update. And that won't come until probably Q3 of this year. So anyways, guys, that's my video coverage on the Google Pixel 5. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section of the video. If you guys enjoyed today's video, smash that like button because it lets me know that and it helps circulate the video. If you're new to my channel and you decide to hit that subscribe button, thank you so much for doing so. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified of any live streams or videos that I post in the future. And also, there's that applaud button down there. If you'd like to help out the channel, hit the applaud button and select your choice, and I would deeply appreciate it. Thanks for peeping my video. As always, peace.